Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
That's right. It's a Write That Down Wednesday on Purple Daily.
Write this down.
The only show in America
Write it down. You like writing things down.
with the stones enough to put statistics next to our predictions. We'll go through the accountability session. We'll make our weekly predictions here. We got training camp starting in less than 2 weeks. The Netflix wide receiver series, I believe, is out now.
Yeah.
I think it's available to watch right now.
Oh, really? Okay. I've not checked yet.
I mean, it's usually they drop it at like midnight the day that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll binge a couple. Then I know you guys are going to like dive heavy into it on episodes that I'm not on this week, but I think I might save some for the plane rides. Might just probably binge them all on the flights to Vegas.
Yeah. Netflix crushes it with these. I just I watched I told you guys this yesterday. I watched the sprint one, and now I'm all invested in like Jamaican sprinters for the Olympics coming up next month. Ask me anything about Jamaican sprinters. I could tell you.
No, I won't.
Maybe that's what Judd
great.
needs to get into the Olympics.
Yeah,
He needs that type of stuff to get some human interest into the actual
I've
Olympics.
got enough sports.
Shot put on Netflix.
I've got
Follow
enough
8
sports
legendary
in my life.
shot putters.
That's awesome. I think competition's great.
Curling. Coming up next on Netflix, curling. Drama in the Canadian curling.
Well, that could actually, you know what?
That's up your alley.
That could be, but like I could see that totally being a show.
Oh, dude! I mean,
characters.
they're crushing it with the F1. F1 kind of started it.
Started it right.
And the F1 series literally like spiked ratings on ESPN in the United States.
Yep.
It's funny, like you get all these people that had no idea what F1 was like 5 years ago. Now they're just diehards. They just love McLaren and whatever else.
And the race that they did, I think it was last year in Vegas, was an F1, right? Through the streets.
Yeah.
So you're right.
It's crazy. So maybe you can take your F1 car over to Quick Trip, Judd. Huh? Maybe could you fill up an F1 race car at Quick Trip?
They got premium gasoline there.
I was gonna say, what type of gasoline does an F1 car take exactly?
No idea.
I
Watch the
don't
series
know.
again.
I don't know, but you know what? If you were just an ordinary guy or gal, and you say to yourself, "I need gasoline," well, then Quick Trip is the obvious place to start. The quality gas guarantee, and then you step inside and look at all of those choices: milk, bread, produce. You know what? Bypass the grocery store, get the stuff at Quick Trip, in and out. Or let's say you don't want to go in. Let's say you're like, I don't want to go in today. I don't feel like it. Oh, because Quick Trip got the answer for you. In fact, just go to the Quick Rewards app and you can order everything. Declan does this all the time that you want. You can pick it up curbside. How does it get any simpler? It doesn't, because it starts at Quick Trip.
Darn right. Okay, so
Write this down.
Here's how Write That Down works. It's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week on the show here. We do the football and Vikings-related one on Purple Daily every Wednesday, and then on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd podcast feed and the Score North YouTube channel. It's the OG edition. So the Purple Daily edition, we started it in 2021. The season goes from Super Bowl to Super Bowl. So this is the fourth season of Purple Daily Write That Down. But we have like 10 seasons worth of data over on the Mackey and Judd edition. So if you haven't checked that one out, we do that every Wednesday too. So we keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns on the Purple Daily edition. And if you want to be like AJ, who's going to be a guest listener participant here in just a few minutes, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app and he will get you scheduled for some time in the coming weeks. Okay, so this is the deadest time of year, obviously, for like completions to come off the board. So we have nothing came off the board. Right. I'm going to highlight some things that are still on the board here.
Right.
Starting with Judd, you said Justin Jefferson, speaking of Netflix wide receiver, will have a 2,000-yard season. Now, I found it interesting. He's doing the media rounds. He was on like Rich Eisen's show yesterday, promoting the series.
It was good.
And he says all the right things all the time. And like Rich was kind of probing about, were you surprised that Kirk left? Did it upset you at all that Kirk left? And Justin Jefferson kind of spun it into, he said, no, like Kirk had a business decision that he had to make. But then he also said, it doesn't really matter who throws me passes.
Right.
And he's right. Like he literally, with Nick Mullins at the helm, he was on like an 1,800-yard full season pace. So,
well, he also said something about Kirk that I found to be very intriguing because he sort of said it and moved on quickly. But he said essentially things didn't go the way that Kirk wanted. I had to get paid. A bunch of guys had to get paid, which to me was code for Kirk was taking his proper place in line because I was getting my contract before he got his. I thought that was great. But I'll just go back to what we talked about. There was no way that Justin Jefferson was going to stay on the Vikings if Kirk left, right? There was no way. He's like, I don't really care.
Yeah, and now he's the richest wide receiver the richest non-quarterback in the NFL, richest wide receiver of all time. And whether it's Nick Mullins again or Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy, he's going to be a rich man who goes for 1,500 yards. So, Okay, still on the board for me. I say at some point in the last couple months that the Vikings would add a wide receiver to their team before week 1. I feel even more confident about that. They don't have a number 3 wide receiver. So I don't know if it's a trade, if there's did Hunter Renfrow sign that list that you had a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, no, he did not.
Some guys out there still.
He did not.
Listeners, Lauren says the Vikings won't make the playoffs in the Lions won't make the playoffs in 2024, and Ben Johnson won't get an interview for a head coaching job. So he's saying the Lions are gonna tailspin here. I know it's the Lions, and we're all still a little bit but they're one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFL. I mean, if they didn't make the playoffs, that'd be a pretty crushingly disappointing thing for them.
I'm done with this prediction because I've said every year, right, when Detroit's supposed to spike up, and a lot of times they didn't. Oh, they're not going to be that good. They're the Lions, right? Well, they were that good. So I am not going to jump on what Lauren is saying here because I do think that they will make the playoffs. Ben Johnson as a head coach is interesting, though. I don't know. I think he's being extremely picky, which is intriguing here. I don't think he's being dumb, but I'm curious how many teams are going to come calling again because he clearly, I think it was the Washington job, right?
I don't blame him for that.
Yeah,
there's 3
either.
or 4 toxic franchises.
But how
Carolina
smart,
has become one.
But I think that's incredibly smart because you could panic and say, oh, okay, it's one of 32 jobs, right?
Yeah.
I sort of admire him for saying, yeah, but I'm not going to put myself in a position to get fired after 2 years and then, I'm sort of toxic myself.
Yeah, he asked for a lot of money, and then I think also was asking for control. So I know the money thing was there, but I believe there was reports too he wanted a lot of say in the roster too. So, which
might have been his way of saying, you know what, I'm not taking this job unless it's perfect circumstances for me across the board.
Yeah,
way more money than I would ordinarily get, way more control. But it's also one of 32 of those jobs in the world. And
but that's the question.
If the team slides back down and your stock goes down, do
you just take a job then for the sake of that? Or do you do what it appears he did, which is say, if I take this job, I'm a head coach, but for how long potentially?
Well, I mean, Kevin Stefanski took that Browns job, 4 or 5 years ago. And that was at the time. I mean, he has made that a much less toxic job for whoever takes over after him.
Yep.
Because it was 20 years of revolving coaches and quarterbacks and front office and everything. So, if you're good enough, you can step in and be the culture changer. But, anyways, good luck to the Lions, I guess. And then Declan, still on the board for you. You said this is back a year ago now. After the quarterback series came out, you said at least one of these 3 quarterbacks would be featured on season 2 of Quarterback: Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, or Baker Mayfield. Now, I think the spirit of this prediction was, they're going to follow up with another quarterback series.
Yeah,
and instead, they did wide receiver. So I think this one just stays on the board until they do a season 2 of Quarterback. Yeah,
and I feel honestly pretty good about any one of these 3 being featured. Burrow's obviously the top dog of these 3, and he's good with the media. He was on Barstool this last week too. He's great. Derek Carr kind of in that middling, but probably maybe trending out of being a starting quarterback potentially. And then Baker Mayfield's has his resurrection, and can he continue it? So I actually think, hey, Netflix, I can be an AP here for you. You got one of these 3 perfect options for season 2 right here.
Didn't Burrow get approached about season 1 and say no?
I think
there was a
accurate.
report. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought.
I would think do you think they're more likely to come back to a season 2 of Quarterback or would they just keep picking different positions?
I've got to write that down about that, so I'm not going to tip my hand.
Oh,
Not a
really?
moment too early. Not a moment too early. You're not going to get me to do it.
Netflix, left guard. Follow 8 anonymous, obscure left guards.
Can you imagine
Netflix, Waterboy.
Boone just narrating that and just dropping F-bombs the entire
Yes.
opening
Absolutely.
episode? Yeah.
I can totally see that, and I would love it.
In fact, I mean, if you kept going down the position list, and I don't want to spoil whatever Judd's prediction is, but if I gave you these 3 options for another Netflix football-related series, so quarterbacks off the board, receivers off the board. If we said offensive line, kickers, or cornerbacks, which one would you be the most interested in watching?
Kickers.
Kickers?
Yeah.
Kickers
Just
would be
nervous, anxious,
Kickers would be hilarious.
Like, what are they
getting
like?
clowned at practice.
What are they doing? Like, I know they're kicking. I'm in words of Judd, like, I'm being serious. Like, what are they doing? I don't know what they're doing every day.
Actually, if that's the question, how about long snappers?
Boy, that would be,
Because they sit on the side practice field with the punter and kicker.
yeah, and their job. It's funny because, like, if they mess up a little bit and the let's say they throw back a snap. I mean, if they throw a ground ball back there, they're going to get filleted. But let's say they throw a snap back there that's just a little bit off and it throws off the rhythm, and the kicker misses a game-winning kick. The kicker is the one that people get mad at. Like, the kicker is the one that gets cut. So.
Yep, exactly right.
Anyways, so those are the predictions still on the board here. So the stats are the same as last week. Declan, 49% completions. I'm at 36.5. Judd, 34.5. Listeners, 33.3. Judd and listeners each with 3 touchdowns. Declan with 2. I have 1. Obviously, once training camp and the preseason and regular season starts, we're going to have tons of predictions coming off the board every single week. All-time career stats going back to 2021. Declan leads in completion percentage with 37%. I lead with 47 career touchdowns. All right, let's get our guest listener predictor, AJ, in the house. AJ, what's going on, man? Welcome in.
Thanks for having me. Just Vikings fan stuck in Pittsburgh, PA.
Okay, tell us about that. Yeah, give us your background. You're in Steelers country. They've got that Super Bowl win in the 70s over the Vikings.
I see that. Yeah.
Okay.
Comment on that.
But it was like the 2008 playoff game. My youngest brother was like, "Hey, I like this Adrian Peterson guy," and he's like 11 years old. And I was like, "Well, I guess let's be Vikings fans." And here's the misery. 14 years later, 12, so we liked them since. And I was like, how crazy, because we watched that playoff game that I think it was a miserable game, like 10-7 or something like that they lost in the wild card round. And then that summer is the Brett Favre summer.
Yeah.
And my grandma was the biggest Brett Favre fan. Like, she loved him. Every Sunday she's rooting for Brett Favre. So I was like, man, this is awesome, because now we got Brett Favre and we're just diving into this Vikings fandom.
Wait, so are you from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so like I kind of grew up in it's a little area in Ohio. It's like an hour and a half away, and I moved down here like 11 years ago because I got a teaching job down here.
Okay. So Ohio, so you could have been a Browns fan.
Yeah.
You could have been...
So like it's like a divide. Like where I grew up, it was like 50% Browns. My mom's side of the family, all Steelers fans. My dad's a Broncos fan.
Wow.
Yeah, so like we're all over the place. And then we just chose the Vikings randomly, one playoff game, and been stuck ever since.
Are there regrets? That's the question. Knowing what you know now as an adult, do you have great regrets that the Pittsburgh Steelers were in your backyard and you spurned them?
No, I know. No, I love the Vikings. No matter what.
You could have had Mike Tomlin as your head coach, the one that got away. The Vikings chose Brad Childress over Mike Tomlin all those years ago. Man. So, all right, AJ, here's how it's going to work. We're going to start with you, and then you can make the first prediction over to Judd for his first, Declan back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room here.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
So you are under center. What's your first prediction?
All right, so I'm pretty like analytical so I have like some stats to back this up about Phil's favorite NFC QB, Goff here. His indoor-outdoor splits are insane. His completion percentage 5% better. QBR is 10 points better, and he has half the amount of interceptions when they play indoors. And do you guys happen to know how many outdoor games the Lions play next season?
Well, for 4 for sure, because
3.
Or
they just played
2 for
3.
sure. 3. That's
Like,
it. Wow.
That's it. They go to the Packers, and then late week 16 at Chicago, and then week 17 at San Fran. So write this down. Detroit Lions will be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pains me to say
I could see it, man.
but
I could see it. You know what? It's funny. The Lions. I think Vikings fans fiercely hate the Packers and their fans, and then the Bears are sort of a rung down. But the Bears. I think we've all. I don't know that there's like a hatred among Vikings fans for the Lions and their fans, because we've all just looked at them for decades as this little brother that you kind of push around and bully, right? That you sweep almost every year. It doesn't. I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't bother me that the Lions are getting their flowers right now for a couple years. Go do your thing. Go be the 1 seed for a minute. Now if they win a Super Bowl before the Vikings,
if they get to one,
that would be.
You're not going to be so hospitable to them. That's going to be very hard to swallow. If we see the Detroit Lions in the bleeping Super Bowl, I don't think Vikings fans are going to take that well.
No, but you know what?
Okay,
well. But listen, the Vikings have had 60 years. Take care of your own business. 60 years you've had a chance. You've been knocking on the door. 4 Super Bowls in the 70s. I think if instead of being mad at the Lions, look inward, Vikings. Look inside your own football soul.
You are flying in the face of human raw emotion there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring logic to
Turbulent.
I agree with you completely, but you tell me you wake up on a February Sunday and that day it's the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. You tell Vikings fans to be rational.
I don't mind the Lions. I don't mind the Lions.
I just want to wait and say, you don't mind your ex-girlfriend, but now she's dating a hunk. And you're like, wow, that's boy.
She had braces and pimples when we were dating. And
what's going on?
Now she's a supermodel.
Yeah, wow.
What's going on? Judd, what's your first prediction?
Okay, my first prediction, I am going to double back. I do think that Netflix will have a series next year on a position group. We've got quarterback, starting today, wide receiver.
Slot cornerback.
So write this down. Netflix summer of 2025 will feature cornerbacks.
Okay.
Cornerbacks. They're a great collection of,
little Sauce Gardner.
Much like receiver. But I mean, these are the ultimate guys on an island. I think.
Could we broaden it out to be defensive backs? What if it's defensive backs? Because what if they want to include a couple safeties?
I could see that.
Does this count? I think Jeb was pretty specific with.
I was very specific.
Cornerbacks.
I'm going cornerback. Yeah, I don't think they would mix position groups. So I think that, and I think corners it's such a unique life. Like safeties are exactly what they're called. They're there and I mean, they're good players. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to insult them, but cornerbacks, you are on an island against receivers and the league hates you.
Yeah.
The league wants to take away your money.
Yeah.
And reward the Justin Jeffersons.
For sure.
So we'd be looking at Sauce for sure.
Yep.
We'd be looking at maybe Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
It's hard because like cornerbacks kind of turn over every 2 or 3 years.
Right. You'd have to.
The guys were at the top of the list maybe in 2021 are like out of the league now. Like, it's interesting.
Yep. And perhaps one will be a slot corner, Phil.
That'd be great. I just put one slot guy in there.
I love the slot guys. So
slot guys are corners too.
Write this down.
Okay, Dex.
All right, I'm going to make another Aaron Jones prediction. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I predicted he'll score a touchdown in week 1 for the Vikings after Alexander Mattison didn't rush for a single rushing touchdown last year. I'm going to add to that, maybe even potentially, not hedge to it, but regardless, I saw these stats from Warren Sharp yesterday about Alexander Mattison and his ineffectiveness. That's even putting it lightly. Incredible ineffectiveness inside the 5-yard line.
Give this. So I think he had 9 carries inside the 5-yard line for -7 yards and no touchdowns. And then Warren Sharp put the video up of the 9 carries. And of course, I know that people's instinct is there's a few of the plays where the offensive line gets kind of pushed back. And like, well, what's he supposed to do? Okay, go watch Christian McCaffrey, who's admittedly the best running back of this current era, but better offensive line. But he's also just like sidestepping and dodging the penetration, finding a hole, bouncing out. You're telling me 9 carries, you can't gain a yard?
Well,
Minus 7?
He lost 7 yards. That's the telltale.
What's he supposed to do? The offensive line. Okay, we go way too far blaming offensive lines for everything. Like at some point, make a play, fall forward, bounce to the outside. Get some speed in those legs.
Some of those lines in the Packers were good, but for God's sakes, John Kuhn played like 8 years for the Packers because he could do this.
Yeah.
He could do this. You're telling me Alexander Madison can't, on one of those carries, penetrate the line and
trip into the end zone?
What you need to do, boys, is you need to put your foot in the ground. You need to put your foot in the ground. That's what you have to. Football. If you don't put your foot in the ground, you're not gonna gain yards.
Yeah. All right, so here's my prediction. Write this down. Aaron Jones scores a touchdown from within the 5-yard line or closer in week 1. In week one. I'm going to quantify it in the first game of the season. So they will be in the deep red. They will be 5-yard line or closer. We'll have to kind of monitor this a little bit. I think we'll probably know it. I think we'll be aware of it. But he'll score a touchdown from 5 yards or in week 1. Yeah. Write it down.
It won't be that hard to figure out if he scores a touchdown inside the 5.
Yeah, well, I have another prediction of him scoring a touchdown like week 1 too. So I have a couple of these on the board. But yes, we'll be able to see it.
Yeah,
deep red. I love the deep.
And Judd, you're still low on Aaron Jones. All the Aaron Jones slander from Judd.
I feel like he's come around a little bit, but when he signed, you were low.
I want Ty Chandler to get his chance. I don't want this to be an excuse not to use them. I think that they'll both play.
Who cares about Ty Chandler?
Yeah, I agree.
Aaron Jones on the Vikings.
Aaron Jones.
Top 10 running back in the NFL.
The days of the bell cow are gone.
I would trade Ty Chandler, quite frankly.
We talked about this yesterday. Do not bell cow. There's no bell cowing. You're not allowed to bell cow guys anymore.
I do stand for Ty Chandler, so it'll probably be.
I heard you say that you said that they should trade him. So I don't know how that stands.
I'd trade him.
Man.
I was hacked.
I'd trade him tomorrow.
Write this down.
Okay, write this down. This is kind of a Judd prediction, but you can leave your headphones on because we trust your honesty on the show. Judd will observe in Judd's camp notes sometime before the season starts. I mean, training camp's really the only time you can actually watch practice and do Judd's camp notes. So I'll just say Judd will observe in Judd's camp notes JJ McCarthy taking reps with the first team offense at some point, like the team drills, the 11-on-11 team drills, not the 1-on-1s, not the 7-on-7s.
Okay.
The full team drills. You will observe JJ McCarthy taking reps with the ones. Now, I saw a clip on the internet from KFXN Radio that voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, and I didn't hear this directly, so I'm sort of taking this from aggregation online. But he said it's an extreme long shot for JJ McCarthy to be in the mix for the backup role, that he's very much likely to be the third quarterback when the season starts with Nick Mullins as the number 2.
Right.
And he's like probably getting that information from people behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, and that's the case right now. I mean, this is all going to depend on how McCarthy performs in practices and the exhibition games in which he plays. I think if McCarthy's outstanding, he's the backup. I think that if they're like, whoa, this is a work in progress, Mullins stays. Mm-hmm. I can see a world again where if JJ McCarthy plays to like optimizes his chance, that Mullins towards the end of camp gets traded. But right now, Paul is right, and everything that we saw in the springtime practices scream this, because it was Darnold and Mullins with the ones, and obviously Sam got the vast majority of the work there. And then it was Hall and McCarthy with the backup. So he's right now. No question about it.
Okay.
Write this down.
All right. Back to AJ, your second prediction.
So my second one, it's funny, you guys kind of touched on both my predictions yesterday, so I was hoping I wasn't going to get sniped. So the Bears, they the last 6 of their 8 games are versus the NFC North, including a trip to San Fran. So that's a pretty tough end of the year schedule. And last I checked, their win total is 8.5. And I'm going to say that Chicago Bears will win under 8.5 games. Just not feeling
Solid.
I'm not feeling the whole rookie quarterback. You know, there hasn't been many to win 9 or more in the past 10 years. It's just, I don't know. It's a little off with Caleb
Agreed.
over there.
I think the Jets and the Bears lead the NFL annually. If you were to rack up like the prognostications going into every year, they lead the league in like I would say premature hopefulness. Like, this is the year that the Jets are finally. It's like, no, you have a 40-year-old quarterback and a defensive coach and a bunch of drama. And the Bears, we finally have it. It's like, you've never developed a quarterback. You have a head coach that's probably on the hot seat if you start slow. And I don't know, you've been mediocre for a long time. I'll believe it when I see it with the Bears and a quarterback.
Agreed.
So, okay. Judd.
Write this down.
All right. As we also discussed on the show on Tuesday, Sam Darnold's next contract will be a multi-year contract. So he's on a 1-year deal right now. And I said, I think that the odds of him getting a multi-year contract from the Vikings are probably low. But just write this down. Sam Darnold's next contract will be a multi-year contract.
Okay.
I think
you could backdoor this too if he's like so solidified as a backup that he gets like a 2-year, $10 million backup deal. He's resigned to being a backup. So you could backdoor this. Okay.
Write that down.
Dex?
Also, the Sam Darnold prediction. Write this down. So Sam Darnold in his career has 5 pick sixes. 5 pick sixes in his career. He had 2 his rookie year, 2 in 2020, and then also 1 in 2021. So write this down. Famous last words. Sam Darnold will not throw a pick 6 with the Vikings in 2024.
Ooh.
Okay. You might just jinxed it there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very possible.
Yep, I did.
I like his chances of doing exactly that.
We are
and it's kind of a new offense a little bit. You know, there's some
he's going to be
tweaks.
throwing a lot still, right?
Different
Hey,
receivers.
JJ, Addison. Oh no!
Hey, I left in scooping scores. If he fumbles that ball and they scoop it up, that's fine. That's fine. No pick sixes though for Sam Darnold in 2024.
Okay. It'd be funny though if it was bound to be a pick 6 and then Brandon Powell, tracked down the cornerback or the linebacker.
Write this down.
Saved you on this prediction. Okay, write this down. I'm going to go outside Vikingsville here for a second. Also looking at some of the over-under win totals, but last year the Chargers won 5 games, and then they fired Staley and brought in Jim Harbaugh. So the Chargers have one of the 5 easiest schedules on paper, according to Warren Sharp. The Chargers have one of the 5, 6, 7 best quarterbacks in the league. And I think they have one of the 5-ish best head coaches in the league. Jim Harbaugh has won everywhere he's been. He's won like 70% of his games in the NFL in that 4-year stretch with the Niners. And it was a quick turnaround when he took over that Niners team. Nobody thought they were going to be like a 13-win team right away. So here's my prediction. Write this down. The Chargers will at least double their win total from last year.
Okay.
I think this is a touchdown. If they go from 5 to 10+ wins,
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the over-under is like 7.5 for them.
Yeah.
Chargers will at least double their win total. So they'll win 10 or more games this regular season. Write it down.
Write this down.
All right, AJ, your final prediction.
All right, so my last one's going to be a Vikings one. I'm pretty logical when it comes to some of these stuff, but when it comes to the Vikings, I'm just always optimistic, So it's a little bit of a two-parter here because we're not really sure who's going to be the starting quarterback. But I have, write this down, JJ McCarthy is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, or Sam Darnold will win Comeback Player of the Year, and Dallas Turner will win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Let's go.
Wow, you are all in.
Let's fire it up.
do it.
Boy, that happens.
11 wins. Come on.
All
Extensions for everybody. Let's go, dude. Awesome, man. AJ, great work on your predictions here. Since you've got this life-changing platform right now on Purple Daily, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that helped you get here?
So always got to go with the wife. I'd set up my second TV. Got to find where I'm watching the Vikings this week. She checks Saturday night. She's like, "So how are you watching the game tomorrow?" And make sure I got it dialed up. And then you guys, I mean, the summer months having something in Pittsburgh to, always have Purple Daily is awesome to have. Like it's so hard to find Vikings content living in Pittsburgh. And I appreciate you guys.
AJ, thank you, man. Thanks for the kind words, and we'll definitely see you again sometime on one of these shows.
I think
AJ may have just
we
froze
lost
there,
him
but
at the
we
end.
got we did get the
Good
the
timing.
shout-outs.
we got
Yep.
the shout outs.
That's good timing.
Yep. So before we get to our final predictions here, and then an interesting nugget also from ESPN.com, there's a couple wrestling nerds on this show, myself and Declan, and then sometimes, begrudgingly we can drag Judd along. But we are hosting a suite on July 29th at the XL Energy Center for Monday Night Raw. It's the final Monday night. It's the go-home Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam.
Big show.
So storylines are coming to a head.
Mm-hmm.
All the top talent's probably going to be there. And we're giving away 5 pair of tickets to hang out with me, Declan, our guy producer Ross. Here's how you can win one of those 5 pair of tickets. Score North app. It's free to download. Go to the listener rewards section in the menu, and you'll just see the Monday Night Raw option right there. Declan's holding it up on the YouTube channel. And you have to enter the promo code SLAM to enter. That's SLAM, promo code SLAM. And we'll be picking winners here between now and July 29th. Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam. Let's get it here. Also, I'm holding up in front of me for the YouTube audience a package of, this is one of the travel packs of AG1. So, if you're like me and you're bumming around and you're maybe not always getting Tom Brady level, you're not eating as clean as you possibly could be. Or maybe you are and you just want a little boost. So AG1 is 75 high-quality ingredients packed into either one scoop or one travel pack. We're talking whole food-sourced ingredients to support gut health, focus, immune health, and more. Whether you're a high-end athlete or you're just an idiot like me who likes to talk about high-end athletes, AG1 is a great way to start your day, or for me, a boost in the middle of my day. If there's one product I had to recommend to elevate your health, it's AG1. It's been about 7 years for me using AG1. If you'd like to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/purple daily, drinkag1.com/purple daily. And then let me know. Hit me up on Twitter, email me if it's your first time experimenting with AG1. Let me know how it goes. Before we get to those final predictions here too, another fun event coming up at the end of July is the 3M Open if you're a golf nerd like us.
Yeah, at 3M Open, the golf matters, the play matters. You need to be there because that matters. Sahith Theegala will be there. Lee Hodges is going to defend the title again this year. Or Tony Finau, who won it a few years ago, I should say. He'll be back to trying to reclaim that title. It's a great field. Judd's guy, Sam Burns, he wants to enter the fold as well. So plenty of great golfers showing up this year at the 3M Open, July 22nd through the 28th. You can get your tickets by going to 3mopen.com. That's the number 3, the letter M, open.com for tickets.
Write this down.
Okay. Judd, what is your third and final prediction, sir?
All right. An NFL team will lose its starting quarterback to injury for the season in week 1. So
You said quarterback?
quarterback.
Okay.
Quarterback, QB. An NFL team will lose its starting quarterback to injury for the season in week 1. There will be another torn
cryptic.
Achilles. There will be a torn ACL. There will be something.
That's right.
Throw a name out there.
Ooh. Who didn't get hurt last year? Because that's
Yeah.
kind of how this works.
Yeah. Who's going to be carted off the field?
Who are the oldest? So not counting the 2 Achilles guys, who are the oldest? I mean, I don't want to throw a name out. One just popped into my head. I don't want to say
I'll
it.
throw one out. Oh, I'll throw one out. I'm just trying. You know what? Because things appear to be going well. Jared Goff
Yep.
just got the contract. Drops back to pass.
Is he? It'd be a practice, right? He's not going to play in the preseason, is he?
No.
He's
week
saying
1.
week 1.
In week 1.
Oh, I thought you said before week 1. Okay,
No.
in
week
week 1.
one.
In
In
week
week 1. I'm
Yep.
saying there's going to be an Aaron Rodgers catastrophic, but Goff drops back to pass. New contract. His life is great. Bang, bang. Knee goes out for the season.
So cryptic.
But it always happens.
No, Judd's right.
Like it's
Okay,
cryptic,
just is Jared Goff officially part of this prediction now, or no? Is this
no? You told me to give you a name off the record.
Okay.
Off the record. If this was
No.
if this was an official prediction and I got that right, end the game. Just end the game. That would be off the charts incredible. No, I'm just saying
We'll make a mental note.
there will be some. There will be one where at least one, I should say, so that I don't get burned if it's like 3 guys.
Yeah, I feel dirty having like now Lions fans are going to clip this like, oh, they're laughing at.
It could be somebody else. It could be Jordan Love.
Judd.
Things are going well. Bang.
This is a great prediction by Judd. I
Thank you,
understand the moral compass of maybe not doing this type of prediction.
I'm
but
not saying
he's right. It happens every year.
It's an injury. It's an
Yeah.
injury. This is not trying to. No. This is
I'm
just
with you.
Football.
It's a
Yeah,
football.
It's a grown man's
football-
game. Yeah,
It's a football thing.
it's a grown man's
Write
game.
this down.
All right, Dex.
All right, so we're still trying to figure out who is going to be the primary kick returner or returners this year for the Vikings. So I'll put someone in place this right now. Write this down. Kene Nwangwu will return the first kickoff for the Vikings in Week 1. So the first kickoff when either they receive to start the game or whenever they do their first kick return, it'll be Nwangwu who will make the first return for the Vikings in 2024.
And if they kick it through the back of the end zone, which they might not, like it doesn't matter if he's back there as the return man. This count. He doesn't have to actually return the kick. Right?
I would say he has to return it.
Yeah,
I would say the first guy who actually returns a kick,
Football.
takes it, and runs with it, yes,
Okay.
it has to be
Yeah.
Nwangwu. So
Yep.
if that happens, it just stays on the board.
Your biggest
until the
thing
next
there
kickoff.
is does Kane make it through healthy all of training camp? Because they were definitely frustrated last year because he missed several weeks, and I know that there was a frustration there about, hey, can you come back yet? Because I think you're right. If he stays healthy in training camp, if he doesn't, I think then there becomes a fighting chance he doesn't make the roster.
You can't make the club
And
in a
Cam
tub.
Akers.
In a tub.
And that's also a very interesting thing, I think.
Yep.
Where's
Write
he
this
at?
down.
Has he passed his physical yet?
You know, the Vikings have not officially announced this, so the answer is no until we see that
Dude,
press release.
That dude's had 2 torn Achilles before the age of 25. That's like a week and a half physical if I'm an NFL team. Let's stretch those things out. Let's see.
Half physical.
Let's stretch those legs out. Let's make sure there's no residual
Write this down.
damage. Okay, I know one of you guys made a Thielen prediction last
did.
week, I believe. So I'll, in similar spirit, I'm going to say this. Adam Thielen will catch another touchdown pass with the Vikings at some point before his career is over. I think he's got some, I mean, he got paid more than the Vikings were willing to, right? I think he's got some regrets. You know, he's sitting out there with this train wreck organization.
And now he's at an East Metro High School in Declan's backyard.
He's working out with the Vikings quarterback of the future,
I'm
planting
obvious-
seeds.
I'm obviously very busy over the next like 72 hours and honestly week plus, but I need to go to this local East High School and just kind of sit there and camp
Just go
out.
camp
until I
out in the parking
get the
lot.
field
Yeah.
glasses.
Tomorrow? You got time tomorrow?
No, I don't. I literally do not.
The wedding is starting. Where's Declan? Oh,
Yeah.
he's in the parking lot watching
Hold on
Adam
a
Thielen
second.
catch
The
passes
wedding's
from
on
JJ
Saturday.
McCarthy.
You got all the time in the world.
I got a haircut tomorrow. I'm
Get your
golfing
haircut. Your hair
tomorrow.
looks good. Wait, you're
Friday,
golfing tomorrow?
I'm golfing tomorrow.
Okay, that's not dedication to this Thielen watch right there. You're golfing. Why are you golfing? You could be at this East Metro High School with.
Maybe I'll see him on the course. It's actually very
He's a hell of
close
a-
to that exact high school.
Oh,
that
he's
we're
a hell of a
talking
golfer.
about. Never know.
He's
Maybe
a hell
I'll
of a
see him.
golfer, Dex.
Maybe I'll see him.
Write this down.
Those are the Write That Down predictions here on this Wednesday, July 10th. Every single week, the only show in America with enough guts, cojones, stones, footballs to actually put statistics next to our predictions here. An interesting tidbit from ESPN.com's Bill Barnwell here in a moment. After we say hello to Nicolay Law, the exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily. Nicolay Law, proud to serve in the Twin Cities community. They're just your normal everyday folks, the ones you see at the gas station, the ones you see maybe at the game on Sundays. And they're here to help you when life throws you a curveball. NicolayLaw.com or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY. That's NicolayLaw.com or 1-855-NICOLAY. So Bill Barnwell, who's the resident analytics guru of ESPN, ESPN.com. They put him on TV once in a while. I see him on Get Up once in a while.
Around the horn.
Around the horn sometimes too.
Yeah, he competes.
Yep. So he ranked every team in the NFL based solely on their skill position talent. So wide receiver, running back, and tight end. Take all the players that play those positions on every single team and who has the best talent at the skill positions.
Okay.
And it's interesting. He has the Vikings 5th behind only the Texans, the Dolphins, the Eagles, and the 49ers. And part of the write-up here, and thank you to the Purple Persuasion at TPP Skull for brilliantly aggregating this part of the story.
They're fantastic.
If the Vikings could get 17 games out of their top 4 playmakers, they would be number 1 in these rankings. Starting with something close to a half season from TJ Hawkinson limits their ceiling, and that's why they're 5th. So he's saying if TJ Hawkinson was healthy going into the year, with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones, if those guys were healthy to start the season, the Vikings would have the number 1 ranking running back, tight end, wide receiver groups combined in the NFL.
Okay, so the Texans are 4. The Dolphins are 3. Dolphins are interesting. Philadelphia is 2. And San Fran is 1. I like the Vikings at 5. If Hawkinson was healthy, maybe I'd put him around 3. I don't know that I'd put him 1, but from this, just what we're talking about here, like that's why, and I think Dex talked about this a couple of days ago or on Tuesday. That's why it's sort of hard to fathom the Vikings are going to suck or not win 8 games or so.
Yeah,
based on that. Like
it's hard not to put the Niners 1 because you're talking okay.
Yeah,
Christian McCaffrey, best running back.
Debo.
George Kittle is still a top 3. You could say that Justin Jefferson would be the best pass catching receiver if you took all the Niners and Vikings receivers.
Sure,
but the Niners have Debo and Ayuk who are pass catchers. They're versatile out of the backfield. They block right. The Dolphins have 2 track meet wide receivers, and then Devon Achane is the 3rd round running back from Texas A&M that had like 600 yards before week 5 or something last year. And then he goes down for a while with injury. But yeah, I mean, when you look at it this way, solidly top 5 skill position players.
Yes.
So if a quarterback can just step in, and left tackle, top 5, right tackle, top 5, 6, or 7. If a quarterback can just step in and not even be brilliant, just navigate this
manage
offense.
the game.
Yeah.
Like we take that as such a dig, right? Manage the game. You're not any good if you manage the game.
Tua manages the game.
Well, but I mean,
Brock Purdy.
Darnold is literally going to sit down in week 1 in basically a Ferrari. Manage the car.
Yep. So interesting. Yeah, the full article, ESPN.com, if you want to see the rest of it. I don't have it open right now, so I don't know who's last, but I would say Patriots probably should be. Right? Let me open it.
I looked at it.
Who would you guess is last?
Let me see here. I've got it right here because I opened
this
file.
Oh, is this true?
It's the Chargers, right?
Chargers.
Yeah, well, they did get rid of 2 established wide receivers, and Quentin Johnston has not really clicked yet. So the good news for them is they're only really going to need a running back, and then whoever Justin Herbert can turn into a good wide receiver.
That's the question.
Because if you look historically, Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman together as offensive masterminds are almost always last or second or third to last. And Greg Roman, even without Jim Harbaugh, they're like last in pass attempts. So
the incredible statement about this list is, and Barnwell's not wrong, the Chiefs aren't top 5. And they shouldn't be. And that again is the magic of Mahomes. Like, they aren't top 5, and yet if I was to ask you, hey, offenses, what offenses do you like? You're definitely going to talk about the Chiefs. But skill position-wise, outside of Patrick, this list is probably right.
Yeah, he's got the Chiefs. Let's see here. I mean, they're outside the top 10.
That's
he's got a 14th. But, it's like, yeah, they've got a Hall of Fame tight end who's, by the way, like 33 years old now.
Right.
Travis Kelce. And then, Rashee Rice is probably your number one wide receiver. And then you got some other. They brought in Hollywood Brown, I guess, as kind of a possession guy. And then Pacheco's a good running back, but yeah, he's not Christian McCaffrey. So, all right. Those are your write that down predictions.
Write this down.
And some more fodder here on Purple Daily Vikings entertainment. We bid adieu to Declan here. He'll be a married man the next time the audience sees him on this show.
Got the outfit. It's in the closet right here. Picked up the outfits. Ready to go. I'm ready to rock. Very, very, very excited. Shout out to our friends at Milburn's, by the way. Great area. Great spot to get a suit. Love my friends at Milburn's.
Very nice.
We'll see what a lot of write that down wedding predictions to come off the board here too on the OG edition.
Yeah,
over the next few days.
There was a damning video last week of me dancing with some friends at the wedding I was at last Saturday, and my fiance is very excited to see this happen again, I think, in a few more days.
See. So Dex will report back after wedding, after honeymoon. Jeb will keep it moving. We'll, at some point, maybe even starting tomorrow, we're going to start to review the Netflix wide receiver series that's coming out. We have a feedback Friday and a snake draft in a couple of days. Daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See ya.